I used to sit at my studio for hours on end on a single song and just tweak over and over the same 8 bars, not making any progress. It was taking me months to finish a single track, and I wasn't getting anywhere. But then I started treating music production like a business, and everything changed. Here are the only 3 systems that I've used to finish more tracks in the past 6 months than what I did in the past 3 years. Number one is going to be the idea factory, because most people, when they start making a song, they just commit to it. Even if it's not that great, they just end up tweaking the melody too much, tweaking the chords, trying to get the perfect mix from the get-go. But the problem is that they work way too much on a track that they're not really passionate about it. They're just working on it and trying to finish it with just an okay idea. But the reality is that not every idea is going to be great. It's much easier to create 5 or 10 different ideas, and out of all of them, decide on one of them which really moves you to the core. This way, every single day you can show up, make a track. It doesn't matter if it's only the melody, the chords, or maybe a drum section, but the point is that you're bringing something to the table every single day. This keeps your ideas fresh and your mind sharp to always be working on new stuff, to always be creating new material and getting better at creating melodies and creating chords each time that you sit down on your computer and start producing music. The second system is going to be the investment decision, because after you have 10 different ideas, one of them is really going to interest you, and that's the track where you got to go all in. It doesn't matter who the other ideas that you already created. It doesn't matter what tomorrow you could write. If one really excites you and you see a lot of potential in, just go all in on that one and don't create anything else until you finish that one. This way you're not spreading yourself thin with 15 different projects at the same time, or constantly working on new projects like I said with step 1. Rather, the idea is to bring a lot of projects to the table, focus on the one you really like, and then don't look at anything else until that one has been completed. It's pretty much like looking at business opportunities. You wish you could do everything, but the reality is that you have limited time and effort. So might as well invest all that time into the tracks that really are going to move the needle forward, not just for building the audience, but also in terms of what you like best and what you perceive to be your best pieces of work. And the third and final step after the song has been written out is the mix checklist protocol. Because most people, including myself when I didn't use this system, just spent hours on end trying to tweak the chords to sound perfect, and they're always nitpicking the sounds and never truly arriving at a final decision of when to ship the song. It's always another EQ added, another saturator, always something else that you need to add that in reality, most people are not even going to notice in the final product. Most listeners don't care of the mix as long as you're transmitting the ideas and the feelings that you got when you wrote the song. That's why I implemented the mix checklist protocol, which is basically listening to the track from start to finish a day after you already wrote it, and then writing down every single tweak that you want to make to it. So maybe make the snare punch a little harder, maybe add a bit more brightness to the chords. Every single change, you just write it down before tweaking anything. Because as soon as you start listening to the mix, you want to click around and start adding effects or start tweaking the presets, start adding stuff. But before doing any of that, just make a checklist of all the things that you listen to in the mix that must be fixed, and then systematically, one by one, just knock them out of the list. This way, when the list has been completed, you know the mix is finished. You're not just trying to find new details and new problems to fix. You're just knocking out the whole list and you're done. You want to repeat this process for the next couple of days, even weeks if you want. Just listen to the track over, and if you hear anything that really sticks out, then you just add it to a new checklist, and once you're ready, you can just go into the project, knock all of the bullet points out of the way, and just be done with it. The point is not getting caught up in the project and then just thinking, what can I add now? Just listen to it, write down the bullet points that you want to work on, and then knock them out. With these 3 simple steps, you're going to be writing out a lot of ideas, committing only to the ones you really like and not doing anything else aside from finishing that idea. and then finally mixing and mastering just with a couple bullet points to keep the process as effective as possible. This way, you're not spending months on a single track, but rather days or even hours. This way, you can finish at least 3 times as many songs in the same time without feeling inspired, because when inspiration hits, you want to write. But with this system, you're just going to write something every single day, regardless of how you feel. And eventually, you're going to be motivated because one of the pieces or projects that you wrote is actually interesting enough to commit your time to actually finishing it. And with the mixing and mastering, you're not getting tangled around adding a bunch of effects that truly no one is going to notice, but rather doing it in a very straightforward manner. Instead of just waiting inspiration to hit, implement these systems into your calendar of writing every single day at a certain time and then just going all in on those projects until they're done. Treat your music like a business, implementing the right systems to get the right results, and you'll see you're going to be at least 3 to 5 times as effective. Since with these systems, I've personally been creating music for 6+ years while running a completely online business. So for me, it's not like I have the day to just complete music projects and write all day. I have a whole other side of the business that really requires most of my time. So if I'm able to finish songs in 3 days with this specific system, despite my packed schedule, I can guarantee this is going to work for you also. If you got value from this video, make sure to subscribe to get more tips on music production, and I'll see you in the next video.